Things are only getting better for the Broncos in the 24 hours since their win over the Indianapolis Colts, which almost punched their playoff ticket. They are one win away from securing a playoff spot. So I want to talk about the injury news and updates coming off this victory, and of course, go over the playoff picture and the scenarios remaining. But a quick little primer here for you guys. The Broncos currently have the 6th seed in the playoff picture. Now, things could change on Thursday night when they play the 7th-seeded Chargers. If LA wins that game, they will then have the outright tiebreaker over Denver, and they will leapfrog the Broncos back to the 6th seed and put Denver back at the 7th seed. But we'll dive more into the playoff picture in just a little bit. First, some really important injury news that I know you guys want to hear about. Patrick Surtain, who left the game at the very end with an ankle injury, which was described as a minor ankle sprain, was a full participant during today's practice, so very positive sign for him to be available on Thursday against the Chargers, which they definitely need PS2 with Riley Moss still battling a knee injury. Speaking of Riley Moss, just some other players on the injury report. He was not able to practice, along with Jaleel McLaughlin with a quad injury, DJ Jones with a finger injury, and John Franklin Myers with a foot injury. Those 4 players did not practice on Monday, but Patrick Surtain with his ankle injury was a full participant. So trending in the right direction for PS2 to be available, not trending in the right direction for Riley Moss. If Moss cannot play, I expect to see Chris Abrams-Draine start, who made the start on Sunday, his first NFL start after Levi Wallace unfortunately got ran off the field by Jerry Jeudy when filling in for Moss a few weeks ago against the Browns on Monday Night Football. So that's the latest on the Broncos injury front. In terms of the AFC West injury front, you might have missed it, but during the 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain Time slate of games, Patrick Mahomes suffered a high ankle sprain in the 4th quarter against the Browns and was unable to return. Carson Wentz finished the game. So Mahomes, who is now considered week to week, is not in a good spot with just the upcoming schedule for Kansas City. The Chiefs play this upcoming Saturday, so a short week already. Then they turn around and play on Christmas Day, Wednesday, and then they turn around and finish the year on Sunday the following week. So 3 games in a very short consecutive time span. Not very good for Patrick Mahomes' availability, but something to watch for as the Broncos play the Chiefs to close out the year in Week 18. We're going to look at the playoff picture next and all the scenarios that I know you guys want to get to. But help us keep the good times rolling here. Click that subscribe button. We're nearly at 30,000 subscribers. I want to get there by Christmas. We're 23 subs away from 29,500. So if you are looking for a free Broncos channel, I invite you to subscribe down below. Now, let's revisit the playoff picture a little bit here and just run through some of the possible scenarios for the Broncos because it's going to get a little bit hairy because you've got the Broncos playing the Chargers coming up. The Ravens play the Texans and the Steelers in the next 2 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of guaranteed wins and losses in this mess between 7 and 10, which is only separated, 7 and 3, which is only separated by 2 games right now between the Chargers and the Steelers. So with that, the Broncos currently have a 90% chance to make the playoffs. So they're in a good spot, win or lose for the next 3 games here. They could theoretically lose out and technically miss, but I'm going to bank on even at 9 and 8, this team is going to be a playoff team. So right now, Broncos in a good position. Let's look at the remaining schedule for Denver and compare it to the Chargers because that's the team they are fighting with the most right now when it comes to playoff seeding. Obviously, the 2 teams face off this upcoming Thursday if the Broncos win. I know the next question you're probably asking yourself. Could they lose against the Bengals and the Chiefs and still finish ahead of the Chargers? If the Broncos win this Thursday and then lose Week 17 and 18, and the Chargers win Week 17 and 18, the Chargers finish ahead of the Broncos. I believe it would be coming down to the AFC West record, and the Chargers would pick up an extra win by knocking off the Raiders, something like that, or AFC record, and then strength of schedule and common opponents, yada, yada, yada. But the Broncos win but lose out, they would be the 7th seed if the Chargers were to lose to the Broncos but win out, they would have the tiebreaker. But if the Ravens were to lose out, for example, which seems unlikely, they at 9-8 would fall behind Denver and be the 7th seed just because of not the head-to-head record, but the overall record. So with that in mind, let's talk about the Broncos' path to the 5 seed, because I think the Broncos' preferred matchup would be the Houston Texans. They are frauds. And so I would love to see Denver go down to H-Town and not go down to Pittsburgh or Baltimore and play outdoors in that weather against those two teams that beat the Broncos earlier this year. But first, I do want to tell everyone watching about our great friends over at Game Time. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better, and it's perfect for a gift if you're still looking for one right now, like yours truly right here. So Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I'm going to the Tennessee-Ohio State game this upcoming Saturday, and with Game Time, we were able to get some really awesome seats compared to some of my friends who paid a whole lot more. So download the Game Time app today and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. If you're still on the fence, one of my coolest things or features about Game Time is seat views. Get a panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy your tickets. So once again, download the app and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So let's get back to some of the scenarios and what Denver needs to do to climb up to the 5 seed. Step 1 is preferably go 3-0, right? If you finish 12-5, you would be in an excellent position to be the 5 seed. But that may not be the most realistic thing. So what is the upcoming schedule looking like for the Steelers and the Ravens? Unfortunately, you can't just have both teams lose out. For one, they both play each other this upcoming week. So someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and I'm not going to entertain ties because that makes this a whole lot more complicated. But if you are looking to hit the fast forward button on, let's say, Broncos, Ravens, and Steelers all finish 12-5. Denver wins out, Ravens win out, and the Steelers, who can't win out if the Ravens win out since they both play each other this Saturday, finish with a 2-1 record over the next 3 weeks. Here's what it would look like. Steelers would be the 3 seed. Texans, as long as they don't go 12-5 themselves, if they go 9-8, 10-7, or 11-6, would be the 4 seed because they will have won the AFC South, so they an automatic bid for a top 4 seed. Ravens have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Broncos, so they would be the 5 seed. Denver would be the 6 seed, and the Chargers would be the 7 seed since they can't catch up to Denver if the Broncos win out. So this is, I think, the scenario everyone is kind of curious about. If the Broncos win out, what's their ceiling? This is roughly it. Now, things can change dramatically. If the Ravens don't win out, well, then the Broncos would shoot up to the 5 seed, right? Currently, the Broncos and the Ravens both have a 9-5 record. So if Denver gets 3 wins and the Ravens get 2 wins, then the Broncos get to be the 5 seed. That's just pretty straightforward and simple. But when it comes down to ties, this is how it looks. Now, here are my predictions for the AFC and the NFC. I think the Bills are going to get the 1 seed with a 14-3 record, and the Chiefs are going to drop 2 games out of the last 3 with a banged-up Mahomes. Plus, the Chiefs are frauds, so I wouldn't be surprised if they lost 2, even with a healthy Mahomes. They get the 2 seed. Ravens get the 3 seed at 12-5. Texans finish 10-7 with the 4 seed. Steelers get 1 more win and are the 5 seed. Chargers and Broncos both finish 10-7. I know that's not what you want to hear. It's not what you want to see. But right now, with 3 games left and 3 tough opponents between LA, Cincinnati, and Kansas City, I could see the Broncos going 1-2 over that stretch, finishing 10-7. And unfortunately, not having the head-to-head or not having the tiebreaker over the Chargers, and so they finish behind them as the 7 seed, putting them on a collision course to go to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs. If you're curious, here's what my NFC prediction is. I've got the Eagles winning out. They've got 3 NFC East opponents on the docket for them. I think the Eagles are going to win all 3 of those games and be 15-2, finish ahead of the 14-3 Lions, who unfortunately not only lost to the Bills, but lost a ton of key players in that game as well, like David Montgomery. I've got the Rams winning the NFC West, going 10-7. The Falcons win the NFC South, finishing 9-8, but you could swap that out with the Buccaneers, and it wouldn't change anything else. The Vikings finish 13-4 and have the 5 seed because the NFC North is a juggernaut. The Packers go 12-5 and get the 6 seed, and the Commanders finish 10-7 and face off in Detroit against the Lions in the first round of the playoffs. But going back to the Broncos here in the AFC playoff picture, who would be your preferred opponent for the wild card round? If the Denver Broncos finish with the 7, the 6, or the 5 seed, they're not going to win the AFC West, unfortunately. Who would you like to see Denver play? Russell Wilson and the Steelers? Another crack at Lamar and the Ravens? That'd be my least preferred option. Probably after the Chiefs, although the Chiefs are frauds, but they always seem to find a way to get it all figured out. Or the Houston Texans. I'd say the Texans are my preferred option. It probably goes Texans, then Steelers, then Chiefs, then Ravens. I think the Ravens are a better team than Kansas City. But once more, here is the current AFC playoff picture, how things stand right now. And a lot riding on Thursday Night Football for the Broncos to improve and nearly clinch at least the 6th seed with one more win, but not a guarantee. However, they would need the Chargers to go 2-0 and the Broncos go 0-2 over the last 2 games to fall down to 7 if they win, being the Broncos, on Thursday night. Did you get that all? I know we went over a lot of information, but hopefully it was kind of helpful if you can't spend all day on the playoff machine websites like I do. Before we get on out of here, I just want to show some love to the Blue and Orange Club and the newest member to the club, CPJ. Appreciate you going way over the top during our watch party, above and beyond. Thank you so much for your support of the channel and Chat Sports in general. CPJ, welcome to the Blue and Orange Club. Look forward to seeing everyone on Thursday night for our Broncos-Chargers watch party.